Hey, it's not pretty good. You missed the pretty wild one last week. That's
Yeah, that
crazy.
sucks. Yeah, well, what happened?
Well, first of all, I just want to make sure, like, is everything okay on your end?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was just having some like bad allergies, so I get bad allergies from time to time, so nothing too crazy.
Oh, I feel that. I hate that so much. But anyways,
Yeah.
last week was the does is yeah, I think it was is Christianity true? And so I invited,
Right, yeah.
yeah, I invited my Mormon friend. He's an older guy, and a bunch of younger dudes came in. They're atheists, and those guys clashed pretty hard. And
Yeah, that would
so
have been funny to listen to.
Well, it's still it's recorded if you ever want to go back and listen to it.
Oh, right, it's just on your page, right?
Yeah, yeah, you got
Okay,
pretty good
yeah.
sense. And
Fuck yeah, okay.
I eventually had to kick a couple of people because I normally wouldn't do that, but I have a soft spot for him because I know him a long time. He's a good guy. I don't mind people
They were
arguing about
getting kind of were they getting
aggressive.
like kind of aggressive? Yeah, that makes sense. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. I
you want
don't
to
want,
maintain, yeah.
especially to an older guy. But we also might have okay, where it gets kind of crazy. There was a guy that came in. He was an atheist, and me and him had like this really long DM exchange. And like at first it was pretty cool. Like he was really nice, so we just had substantive back and forth. And then like randomly he's like, "Are you white? And if so, are you pro white?" I'm like, "Oh
Oh
no."
no, god damn. You hate to see it.
Yeah. And then like
Fucking A, dude.
and then we got into this argument about race IQ. And he said,
Oh no.
no. And he was like, I'm not even joking. He said that black fathers get this pass on the hoodlum gene.
Oh my god, dude, he said that. That's like cartoonishly racist.
No.
What the fuck?
And he tried debunking me and he struggled really bad. Like, remember how I brought up the Scar Row effect? Like how heritability increases the further you go up. Or, sorry, it
Mhm.
goes, yeah, like opposite. Like,
Yeah, because it's like you have more like resources to realize your like genetic potential,
yeah, and
which is
he's,
like,
mhm.
yeah,
And he tried arguing against that, and he misunderstood it. And I point out to him that you have it messed up. Like if IQ is fixed genetically, it's just say the same, and obviously plays a role.
yeah, exactly.
But anyways, he might be stopping by. I told him he couldn't have the whole space because COVID was a topic. But
Yeah.
if you
But if there's
wanted
dead
to,
air, then we could dissect his fucking
horrible
god, dude.
arguments. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Um, yeah, I'm just doing some last minute research here on the origin debate. Um, and I'm just reading the Wikipedia page of origins of SARS-CoV-2. And I found in the last paragraph in the intro, it says in 2026, virologist Joel Wertheim and colleagues at UCSD published a study in the journal Cell, which compared evolutionary patterns of outbreaks of Ebola, influenza, and other viruses. They found that the mutation pattern of SARS-CoV-2 matched five naturally occurring outbreaks, but did not resemble the 1977 Russian flu outbreak, which was likely from a lab leak. So that's pretty. I'm looking at the paper right now, but that in itself is very interesting.
That is, and
Um,
I think I came up with like this galaxy brained explanation that kind of debunks the whole it being a bioweapon thing.
but
Okay,
you know
so
what?
I said the whole idea that it was released as like a bioweapon. I think I got a
Oh
really,
yeah,
I think I got,
yeah.
I think I got a great argument that kind of just debunks it completely. So the reason
Oh
why
yeah,
they were doing that research in the first place is because of the SARS outbreak in 2003. But here's the thing that people have to be contend with: the SARS one, while it had a lower transmission rate, had a higher lethality rate of about 10%. COVID had a lethality rate of 2%. COVID had a lethality rate of SARS-CoV-1 instead of, well, I know I look at data, and so from 2020 to 2023, 770 million people were infected. That if it had the same lethality rate, 77 million people would have died. If it was a bioweapon, why would its mortality rate be lower than the original?
yeah. Because why would you make a bioweapon that's like shittier at killing people? That's just stupid.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's
And also like
obvious.
just like the you'd have to be like like an anime villain who's really dumb to use a virus as a bioweapon because like you can't just magically only make the virus like spread to like the bad guys. It's just going to get everywhere. So it's a really, unless you're like you want to like kill everyone type evil villain, it just makes no sense.
Oh, did you hear about there was a study in 2024 where they took cotton swabs of stalls in the Wuhan market, right? And they
Mm.
found animal wildlife DNA mixed in it, and they also found COVID.
Yes. Yeah, that's like a pretty key piece of evidence for the genetic origins hypothesis. The thing also is that if you look at I think another key piece of evidence is that if you look at the the DNA samples, oh no, it's like the earliest cases. Like where did the people who first got COVID, where did they report their activities? Like as early as they can tell, and it's all clustered around the wet market, which is not what you would expect if it was a lab leak, because you would expect it to be like researchers. So all the cases would be clustered around the virology institute, but that's not the case.
Yeah, I think
But yeah, finding COVID at the animal market, that's pretty huge.
it was like 66% were all clustered around Wuhan, the market. And to me, what I think is pretty damning is 2003. That's the exact same way it happened. There was a wet market in the Guangdong province where,
Right.
like, a civet, I think that's how you say it, a civet was infected by a
Mm.
horseshoe bat. And then that's how that all went down. So we're seeing the same thing again. Bat
Yep.
infects animal and wet market. It's like history repeating itself. Another thing that's really funny is the same thing happened in 2012 where a bat infected a camel in the Middle East. And here's a little fun fact Jay wouldn't like, but it had a here in cleavage site too.
Classic. Yeah, this was MERS, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's classic stuff. Yeah, I
So
wonder if he's gonna pop in today because he's been going crazy with like the war on Fauci.
yeah, I kind of do have a gripe with him. I think overall he's been treated unfairly, but I do think he messed up at one point because there's
Yeah,
like
I mean
this.
that's totally fair. No one's perfect,
Oh
right?
yeah, like
Like,
I'm not like if I mean, if somebody wants to be shocked about like a corrupt official, I mean, shock Pikachu face, yeah, like whatever, we know that. But like it
yeah.
doesn't follow that just because he's corrupt, therefore it was a lab leak. But the thing I was going to criticize is they asked him, "Did you guys do gain of function research?" And he said no. I mean, legally, like there's legal definition, narrowly speaking, that technically it would be because he argued well based on NIH standards if it's enhanced but doesn't have the capacity to reach like a pandemic level type thing. They basically tried to argue that coronaviruses from bats couldn't be a pandemic level event. But that's kind of a contradiction because the whole reason they were researching bat coronaviruses was because of SARS-CoV-1 in 2003. So, but again, I'm not saying that makes the lab leak true because I think at this point it's ridiculous to think that. But I do think when the officials aren't transparent, it gives fuel to the other side.
Oh yeah, that's definitely true. I remember hearing about this dispute over gain of function. I don't have to remember, but from what I remember, basically, I think there are competing definitions. So it's easy to get confused about things if like a politician asks a scientist about the legal definition, but scientifically they weren't doing gain of function, even though that's how it's legally characterized, you know. But yeah, I don't, if he did anything like corrupt, obviously, like I'm not just gonna. I don't think he is like Saint Science or whatever. He should be held accountable. Um, but it's pretty clear that it's just more or less a witch hunt.
Yeah, I watched Paul Holler's video and it was kind of eye opening because basically he compared what happened with Fauci here in America to like a European version of it, and like in
Hmm.
Europe it was really chill and calm and nobody was yelling or screaming, and they basically said, yeah, we feel like we did the right thing because of how crazy and unpredictable it was. But they also said, well, but we also admit that maybe lockdowns had a severe effect on people's mental health. And it was like just so more reasonable and like kind of boring compared to like the psycho circus we have here in America.
Yeah, that was a great video. I watched that this morning. And yeah, I think the whole like trying to pin the lockdowns on Fauci thing is just like so ridiculous. Um, it's clear, yeah, because obviously he was just a scientific advisor. He didn't have any like real authority to like compel the state to shut down or whatever.
Yeah, by that logic, if Fauci's a criminal, then Trump must be because he enforced lockdowns, right? Watch some glitch when you point that out.
Yeah, I loved when Potholer pointed out, you know, like the Texan governor who actually put the state in lockdown. If that's a crime, then those are the guys you should go after, you know?
I thought it was a really funny idea. Like when he comes in and says something about the Fury and cleavage site, let's stop and ask him, what is the Fury and cleavage site? Do you know what data sex is?
He's gonna have no idea what that is.
Exactly. He's gonna, yeah, it's gonna be hilarious. Although I kind of have a theory that kind of depresses me a little bit.
Uh-huh. What's your theory?
I think he might not show up because I think he got in trouble one time when he was on here with us at work.
Oh yeah, that does tend to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not sure because like he invited me to this space one day and I actually showed up and I guess he wasn't drunk because he was behaving himself pretty well.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. And then he kept trying to get me. He kept saying, "Oh, you should do it on Saturday. You should do it on Saturday." And that kind of made me think maybe it's because he knows that he can't do it. Maybe I don't know, or maybe it's just more convenient for him. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Could go either way.
Yeah, but hopefully we can get some anti-science person on here. Would be a lot more fun.
Yeah, true. I just got the let's see, the World Health Organization, the Scientific Advisory for the Origins of Novel Pathogens group published a report last June that I'm looking at. And this is probably like the most up-to-date assessment of the evidence for the hypothesis.
Actually, I got an idea. Do you remember that one guy, the incel guy? Alec Burton, all the race realists? I'm gonna ask him.
Oh yeah. I actually showed my friends that video. That was awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring. Oh, you watched my video?
Yeah, I was on because you put that one on your YouTube.
Oh, did you like it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, dude, you will not believe how much effort it took just to take 2 minutes of editing. But I worked really hard.
Damn. Yeah. I have no idea how any of that works. So, yeah, I showed my friends too, because they know that I like to debate and stuff. But they, obviously, since they're not racists or science deniers, they don't actually experience it firsthand. So,
well, I appreciate that. I worked so hard on that. Hey, what's up, Ian?
Hey, Supreme.
Hey,
Hi,
what's up, dude?
Hey, what's up?
How's it going?
Going good. Yeah, we've been going back and forth on morals, Supreme. Me and Eddie.
Yeah, very interesting talk.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
It's pretty interesting.
Same here, man. Quite interesting. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We missed you last week, Eddie. We were talking with
yeah.
Yeah. What's
yeah, Supreme was catching me up. It sounded like sounded pretty awesome.
I forget his name. I followed him, but the poet Papa Bear, right? Wasn't it? Supreme?
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, is he the Mormon Supreme?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, he was getting attacked by some atheists. It sounds like some disrespectful atheists.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a bad look to act. Unless the other person is being an asshole, then it's funny. But if you're like an asshole first and there was no hostility, you just look really bad.
Yeah, well, like I said, like I usually have a pretty long leash with people, and I don't know. I kind of felt bad because he's older, and he got really upset and basically kind of called me out. It was like, "Why are you kicking these guys out?" And I just felt like an awkward spot because I don't really do that usually unless they cross the line. and I kind of felt like to some extent he was kind of trying to take over my space, which I wasn't really cool with. It was kind of weird.
That is kind of weird. Yeah.
I mean,
Damn.
do you think that's fair? The fair assessment, Ian, of how I saw it?
I don't know if he heard you.
Do you think the way I summarized it was fair? Like they were mean to him, but at the same time he tried taking over.
Well, my contention there last time was that what he was talking about wasn't really on topic, literally, right? It seemed more like a group therapy thing rather than well, what was the topic again?
Interesting.
Is Christianity true?
Oh, right. Yes, exactly. Was Christianity true? So I don't think he went that route at all. And well, at least the way I took the question was to mean, whether Christianity is objectively true, not whether it's useful or not whether it gives good results, etc. So, well,
Hmm.
that was my thing with Papa there. Yeah.
So it sounds like he was trying to argue that Christianity has like utility rather than it's actually true.
Well, I think that's what I was supposed to. Well, that's what I gleaned from where he was going, but then it just seemed
Hmm.
more like a group therapy type session. Uh,
I see.
yeah.
Interesting.
Supreme, would you agree? Would
Huh.
you agree with that, or and I didn't stay long enough, I think, to see where he was going. So,
Well,
yeah.
it kind of is true. He heavily reps. So every Sunday we have a group space. It's a men's group where it's based off Carl Jung and shadow work, which it's really awesome. I do that every Sunday. I love it. It's a lot of fun. But he does sometimes have a way of trying to like I'm trying to say how to say it with love because I know him a long time. He's a really good dude, but sometimes he kind of like hijack spaces to a certain extent, and make it about that when it's not necessarily appropriate. Maybe if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if it's a thing of, like you guys meet up every week, and so then you assume that there's infinite time to get through everything, right? So then it's fine. I mean, you can take it anywhere you like. For me, as a newcomer there, it seemed like he wasn't really addressing the topic, and so that's what I mean. You get what I'm trying to say?
Hmm.
Like between a group of friends who already know each other, right? We start with the topic and we just let it go wherever it does. So that's fine, I guess. If that's where he was taking it to. Yeah.
Well, basically, what happened was, um, one guy said that he didn't believe in God, right? And and my friend Reed basically said, well, even if you don't believe in God, that he talked about Jung and how there's archetypal energies that are real, and basically said that,
Oh,
yeah, something like he went along those lines and said that if you came to my space someday, you would believe in something bigger.
yeah, but that's just like not God. That's just like maybe you could say it's some cosmic energy or something that you can like tap into, but it's not really like God. I don't know. I feel like if I was there, I would have definitely tried to steer things because I also agree. I don't really want things to go unless and nobody's talking. Then I guess we could just do like free discussion. But ideally, it would be cool to like actually just focus on the topic and try to hash it out as much as possible rather than drift.
You know that it's kind of funny because um, I was talking to him and I told him how you were usually here, and he's like, he basically compared you to a guy in our space who's his co-host, and basically said that like he's probably the guy that sets people straight. And I said, yeah, kind of, like I'm kind of like the boss of the mafia, and you're kind of like the guy that I send to whack people.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's funny. So yeah, yeah. So Anand, do you have a take on the COVID origins question?
No, not really. I think I would go with the mainstream thing that it originated in some lab in China, right? Isn't that the main? Isn't that
Oh,
the
that's
mainstream?
not no. The mainstream, well, the scientific mainstream view is that it originated from animal population. It's
right, yeah,
in
yeah.
the science, it's a
Yeah.
minority view.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know, like the FBI thinks it for some reason, which I have no idea why. But um,
Oh, so what
yeah.
about the Wuhan thing? I mean, sorry, I haven't been following it, for a long, long time, so I don't really know what the what the latest developments are. But last I remember, I think it was, I think the ultimate origins, yeah, from animals, but then it actually was a lab leak due to human error or something, or am I like way off?
Oh no, yeah, I mean that's what the people who believe in the lab leak would say. And
Oh,
it's a small minority of like virologists and epidemiologists who would like support that position. And I
oh,
would say the
okay.
evidence, I would
Mhm.
say like right now, even it's not like conclusive. But the thing is that the evidence for the lab leak is almost all entirely circumstantial, whereas the evidence for zoonotic origins is it's more direct. It's not just circumstantial.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
we might not ever know for sure, because there's critical information that may be lost forever.
Okay, okay. Well, that's completely surprising, actually. I I didn't know this. Okay. All right.
I mean, if you
But
spend a lot of time in this website, you might think that the scientists all think it was a lab leak, but that's not true.
okay, was it ever the case that this lab leak was the mainstream idea? Or did I get that wrong earlier?
No, not really, not really. I mean, for the first like at the beginning of the pandemic, it was seriously considered,
Oh,
but
okay.
pretty quickly the evidence started to move away from lab leak.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
But
yeah.
did it originate in that city, the city or place at Wuhan or something where the
Oh, probably not. I mean, it
Oh,
was
okay.
probably some like bat population. Because I don't know if there are like bats in Wuhan or if there's like a nearby province where there's a shit ton of bats or something.
Well, I
Uh-huh.
think the theory is that it came from the Yunnan province where a lot of bats are. Bats that the Wuhan Institute will actually go to study. And incidentally, there's
Right,
also evidence that animals from that province came to Wuhan to the wet market.
right. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
So that would have been a distance away from Wuhan, if I remember Chinese geography correctly.
Okay. Okay. So if it
But
jumped
yeah, there's
from
a guy in
animals,
both.
sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No. I was just gonna say something dumb. You can go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just wanting to ask if so if it jumped from animals, is it like the through the wet market, or is it like an animal bite or something, or how is it, or is that something that we wouldn't know?
That's a good question. Um, let's see. Let's see what it says if I look it up. What is it called? Like animal transmission. There you go. I don't know if we know like the chain of transmission. Um, let's see here. Okay. So yeah, so if you like genetically sequence the COVID genome, it's closest to to SARS viruses in horseshoe bats. So that's like pretty good evidence to indicate that that was where it originated, was in these bats. But if I remember correctly, what they think probably happened is there was a bat that had it, and then the bat like bit or something and gave it to another animal that then was probably consumed in the wet market, or at least its genetic material contaminated the wet market to get people.
Yeah, I think they think it's something called a pangolin because the pangolin's coronaviruses in that are consistent with the RBD, but the majority of the DNA was similar to closest to a horseshoe bat that was found in 2023.
Interesting.
So it's like a mosaic of like they basically say it evolved over time for different species.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
But is it? I mean, how concerned would we be, with respect to the secrecy of the Chinese government and all that? Like, are they really telling us the truth, etc.? Or does that concern rise, or do you think there's a way to kind of bypass that and still get to the truth?
Well, I would say that you know that probably prevents us from being certain or reasonably certain. But you can still have considerable evidence for a position because the thing about the genetic evidence is that like China can't manipulate that there because that would require sending Chinese agents to every lab around the world to do the same artificial engineering that nobody else would notice, So,
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That makes sense. Yeah.
but there is definitely other evidence that, people who would definitely lean more towards the lab leak would emphasize
Hmm.
about secretive measures. Um,
Okay.
because I don't think they fully cooperated when the World Health Organization tried to kind of get to the bottom of things.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Do they, I mean, Chinese government is their official position that it originated there? Do they agree with that or even that?
That's a good question. I don't know. Let's see.
What is
Chinese
the
government
Hey,
position.
do you guys
official position?
do you remember my friend JD, the guy with the southern accent?
I think. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I
Do you care
remember
if I
him.
bring him in? Because I know he's on I think he's on the lab league side.
Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely. Let's talk with him.
All right, I'm over here like aggressively sending out invites.
Okay, it looks like okay. So there's this news report from AP from 2023, which says that for the second day in a row, China on Wednesday dismissed U.S. suggestions that the COVID pandemic may have been triggered by a virus that leaked from a Chinese laboratory. So maybe they think that it's not. Maybe they think that maybe their official position is that it was natural.
Okay, but they agree that it came from within the Chinese border. Is that right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, they
Okay.
would be insane to deny
To
that.
deny that. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that would be crazy. I mean, they maybe like governments do crazy shit, but yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
they've ever denied that it started in their within their own
So
borders.
Okay.
Google
Okay.
says that they still officially don't recognize that. I have to look into it more.
Oh,
But
really?
China says yeah when I
Wow.
looked into it.
Let's see. Chinese government position on where COVID. This is an
Yeah,
interesting
China.
question on where
Yeah,
COVID
in
started.
CBS News it says China says it's extremely unlikely COVID pandemic came from. Oh, well, it says that denied it came from a lab leak, but that's not the same as
Oh, okay. Yeah, as within their borders. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So within their borders, but they don't think it's a lab leak. All right. Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Right. Yeah. 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 I mean, I guess they would kind of they would sort of have an incentive to not say it was a lab leak because then they would have to admit that they fucked up. But again, the scientific evidence kind of
Mm-hmm.
it's convincing, at least to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. No, as in, so I'm just curious. So, just looking at the DNA and other things, the scientific evidence, how would you distinguish between a human error in a lab leak versus the like an animal biting in wet market, etc.? What would the distinction be?
Uh-huh. Well, I guess there would be certain genetic sequences that are routinely used in like engineering research, genetic engineering research that you would expect to find in the COVID DNA. Like that would be evidence of a lab leak. Was that if in the genetic sequence there are motifs that are commonly used to manipulate viruses in research?
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I know next to nothing about biology, so I'm just curious to what they do. Yeah.
Yeah, I study neuroscience, so biology is one of the things I know. I know some biology.
Okay. Okay. That's nice. Okay. Crazy times,
Yeah, let's see if
back in
JD.
the COVID times. Yeah,
Yeah, dude,
yeah,
it's a trip to think about. Like,
yeah.
just society shutting down and like a lot of people dying. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In a considerable way, I think it split history into two, like before and after COVID, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. We still, I mean, it kind of just changed things forever. It's just one of those events, right? Like 9/11, where
yeah,
like things are just different afterwards.
yes, yeah, yeah, true.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've invited as many people as I possibly can.
Yeah, maybe we might have to pivot and become like a religious debate channel since I feel like that's the one where a lot of people showed up for, but the more political stuff, it's kind of just you have to invite people and hope they know someone or they get in, you know?
So, I got this idea for like a really controversial one next week. I'm gonna call it "You're Not Going to Heaven," and it's gonna be about annihilationism and how the soul is placed.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's gonna piss people off.
I would love to listen to that. You know, that would be pretty
Oh, did
entertaining.
I tell you I got invited to debate this Christian guy on YouTube about the Trinity?
No, that's
Yeah,
cool.
and I had like this text exchange with one of his friends, and like I was really calm and nice, but this guy was just totally freaking out because I think he's used to being able to railroad people, but everything he tried to present, I knew the answer for it from the get go, and I think that really upset him. Yeah,
Oh
yeah, it
man,
was really funny.
that's crazy.
Yeah, and
That's
and
fucking
like my
awesome.
kill shot, he tried to argue the Trinity was true, right? And I brought up this verse, 1 Corinthians 8:6, where the Apostle Paul writes, "But for us, there's one God, the Father." And I said, "Well, if there's one God, the Father, how can Jesus be God too?" And he even tried to address it. He said, "Well, to this last point, it works better from a Trinitarian point of view, and I'll get back to you when I have time."
Wow, I mean, that's probably the closest to a concession that you'll actually get. So
Well,
good job, dude. That's
it was hilarious. Like he got so mad, and he was like, "Oh, you're trolling me. You're not even engaging in my arguments." And it's like. It was just so funny because I was really nice and he got so worked up. And that's why I noticed is like I've had atheists be nicer to me than some of the Christian people I debate.
yeah. So is your main argument against the Trinity just like the fact that it isn't explicitly stated in the Bible, and also that the Bible explicitly says there's only
Oh
one
yeah,
God?
like there's a really famous prayer called the Shema. And it's "Hear, O Israel, Yahweh is our God. Yahweh is one." Psalms 83:18. You alone who is Jehovah, you alone are the most high. Okay, like that doesn't sound ambivalent. That seems like a pretty powerful example of monotheism to me. Like Jesus said that I am less than the Father. He said that he says you're greater than I am. Like another thing is they'll say, oh well, what do they say? They'll say, well, we call him Lord, and well, no, okay. What the text actually says is, but for us there's one God the Father, and one Lord Jesus Christ. And they'll say, oh well, is God not Lord too? And I said, and I explained to him that in Greek, the word Lord is Kyrios, and like that title gets used for a lot of people. King David, before he became the king, called King Saul Kyrios. Uh, Sarah called Abraham, her husband, Kyrios, which is it's just an honorific title. So there's many different types of lords, but the way that Jesus is Lord is from being Messiah. It even says that. It says that he gained the messiahship, or sorry, he gained the title Lord from God. So like it's not really a contradiction. Any way you get around it, it says clearly there's one God, the Father. And like they just short circuit because they know there's no logical way around that.
Yeah, it's very interesting that such a very incoherent doctrine kind of became the orthodox position relatively early on in Christian history, right?
Yep, and it's because of Constantine. He used Greek philosophy.
Oh,
Yeah, he
interesting.
used Greek philosophy, this idea of one divine essence, to try to argue. Well, there's like this divide very early on. Half thought Jesus was God, and then there was those on the Arius side who thought it
Right.
wasn't.
Yeah.
And the thing for Constantine was he didn't really care about what side was right. he just wanted unity. That way, it wouldn't threaten his empire. And so he imported this Greek philosophy of oneness. There's a Greek word for it. I don't remember at the top of my head, but basically, they once the bishops ruled on it, they would outlaw and like burn writings, threaten to kill people, and it was basically suppressed. And back then, not everybody could read and write, so it's not like they all could just freely read the Bible as much as they wanted to.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, interesting history.
It's kind of like with hell and heaven. Like a lot of people think, oh, well, you go to heaven or hell when you die, but that's not like if you ask a Jewish person, that's not what they would say, because in the Old Testament it says that dead or unconscious. There's a really famous verse, Ecclesiastes 9:5, where it says, "The living know that one day they will die, but the dead don't know anything at all." And it says that when you go to the grave, there's no knowledge, no wisdom, no work, nothing. Sorry, I went in like a sermon.
Yeah, I know that was interesting. Looking at another paper regarding COVID, and I'm just reading the abstract, but this isn't something. If this is true, it would be pretty funny for Dre. But it says here that the Liebig hypothesis fails due to the following reasons, and the third reason it gives is that the furin cleavage site is naturally occurring, and experimental attempts to generate the furin cleavage site in bad coronaviruses failed, which is pretty. How do you explain that if you're, I guess, if you're Dre?
Also, it's not stable either. It disappears.
Interesting.
But like I said before, I bet money if he came in here, he would not be able to even explain what a Freudian cleavage site is or gain a function.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
yeah.
I'm gonna use that when he comes in. I'm gonna ask him, "Hey, what is a Freudian cleavage site? How does it gain a function?" I just see it. So, in the event that he can't make it, would you be against like setting up a different day when we could debate him?
Sure. Yeah, it
Yeah,
sounds
that sounds
good.
fun. I mean,
Yeah.
he's kind of like a double-edged sword because like sometimes he can be really frustrating, but like at least he's somebody that we can count on to like own debates.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He's like a reliable opponent, even though he's kind of shit tier.
Yeah. He's- I mean, I kind of feel bad for bullying him, but not really.
Don't feel bad, dude. If he was a nice guy and wasn't just like weird, a fucking weird, weird guy, then I would feel that. But especially when he gets drunk, he just becomes
Oh
just like
yeah,
so
it's
aggressive.
horrible. I love. I'm not trying to sound like super narcissistic, but I love that little climate clip because like at the end of it, he had nothing to say.
Yeah, classic.
Um. Oh man, but the thing is, like, I have so much clips to make that like I have like months worth of editing to do. But I really want to do I
Damn.
really do want to do the Coral Reef debate that we did with him because he got embarrassed. Also, I really want to do the communism debate man you did. That was probably like my favorite debate of all time.
Okay, right on. Yeah, yeah, classic.
What was it? Communism, did you say?
Yeah, I mean, Eddie debated
Yeah,
communism in the debate.
yeah. I'm a communism believer and Supreme's a capitalist believer.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know that, Eddie. Why communism?
Well, I think it is basically the most rational way, and also the way that reduces the least suffering, to organize a society. Well, I guess I would say actually my number one reason is that communism would be the most empowering to just the everyday person. So I think it's in my best interest as an everyday person to want to pursue that goal.
Also, I kind of feel
Okay.
bad, but
Do you think
Sorry.
it has the right? Sorry, what did you say, Supreme?
oh, I was gonna plug one of my hobbies. I'm not trying to brag, but I'm really super multi-talented and stuff. But actually,
Hell yeah.
I actually posted a video where I played music. If you guys wanted to check me out and watch me play guitar,
Oh yeah, that could be sick. Yeah.
sorry,
But
I had to, shamelessly plug myself.
of
No, no, it's
course,
okay.
the self promotion never stops. So yeah, what were you saying, Anon?
Oh, I was saying, do you think it has the correct view of human nature? Like, I mean, we need incentives
Uh-huh.
to I mean, to perform or to do things, and then if incentives aren't there, we would kind of laze around and whatever. I mean, stuff like that. Do you think? I mean, I
Well, I
think
mean,
capitalism leans into who we are. Even if it's a little unfair, but it leans into who we are as humans. And communism. Well, that's what I would say. At least it got
yeah.
human nature wrong. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that's partially true. I would say that capitalism it like leans into the more selfish and greedy parts of ourselves. I don't believe that humans are really like I am pretty much skeptical of like a humative nature, in the sense that there's like one way that humans have always been across all of our history. Like I'm very skeptical of that idea. Um, but even if I were to grant that there is, because there clearly is like some basis to our biology and stuff. If that's what you mean by human nature, then obviously that exists. But um, regarding incentives, I think that the incentives under communism would actually lead to a way better society because the incentives are all pro-social, whereas under capitalism, the main incentive is just to make as much money as possible. The profit incentive, and there are some people who like care about doing it ethically, but if you just look at it strictly from game theory perspective, it's just always in your best interest to be like a massive asshole piece of shit, engaging those types of unethical behaviors to maximize profit. So
Right, right.
that's kind of why our society sucks, And that's like a root cause of all the bullshit we have to deal with, in my opinion.
Okay, okay. No, I would say that the ultimate extreme laissez-faire type capitalism, definitely is not what something one should
Mhm.
do. But with certain government controls and other, like balances and checks and balances in place, um, well, that's what Western societies are, right? I mean, it's not like purely capitalism where government doesn't interfere at all. So government does have
Uh-huh.
some decent interference, and there are some checks and balances. And historically, well, the past 100 years or whatever, economically at least, it's the West that's done better than, say, the so-called communist governments across the world, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, to that point, hold on a second. I'm like spacing out. um, Sorry, could you just like kind of repeat the gist of what you were saying if you can?
Sure, yeah. So I was saying that the extreme forms of capitalism, the laissez-faire type capitalism, where governments shouldn't interfere at all. If that is one's position, obviously, that'll never lead to anything good. But what
Yeah,
you all have in the West right now, where you have this checks and balances, and you also
yeah.
have free market economy. Uh, I mean, historically, in the past 100 years or so, haven't they worked better than the so-called communist governments across the world? So,
Yeah, except but the measure of success is kind of just profit. So it's gonna inherently bias capitalist economies.
but
Um,
even if you take longevity or physical well-being and other things, I mean, the usual stuff, education, infant mortality, you know,
uh-huh. Well, pretty
societal trust, etc. I mean,
well,
perspectives.
there is a paper from the 80s which show that when you match communist countries and you match it to an equivalent GDP size capitalist country, that the communists or like the Soviet bloc countries actually had better physical qualities of health than their capitalist
Oh, but
counterparts.
why you? But that could be a
So,
little bit flawed though, because if they have low GDP and you're measuring low capitalist GDP countries, I mean, that's I'm not sure if that really works out.
well, no, you're equalizing, you're like comparing like with like, you're comparing two countries, one capitalist, one communist, and they have similar enough GDP. So, like, that's like a control.
So what we took
Oh,
the
but do
best
they control
capitalist
for other
countries and the
things
best
like?
communist countries.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it would clearly be capitalism in terms of like, oh, actually, the physical quality of health measures, I'm not actually sure. Like, I don't know if right now China has higher quality of health measures than we do in the United States, which is pretty insane. Um,
True, yeah.
um, but the one could argue that like if you just look at the best, that's like a non-representative sample of that thing of like a communist or a socialist or a capitalist country, you know. So if you look at the bulk, which would be these like smaller countries, I don't know. I don't know if that argument could go through, but
Okay. Now I was thinking if the studies that you mentioned, I mean, I don't know anything about the study, but do they control for other things like I don't know, like the technology that they had in that particular country or their history, and because there are many other variables that one could
uh-huh.
control for.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really an economist, so I'm not familiar with the details. I just remember this
Okay.
paper gets brought up by like communist apologetics.
Okay.
um,
Okay.
but yeah, also the other point I wanted to make about like the laissez-faire stuff is that and this is one of my like fundamental critiques of social democracy, other than it's still being built off this like oppressive system, capitalism. The other issue is that you can have like a good period, quote unquote good period, for a little while, maybe a couple decades, maybe even 100 years if you're really lucky. But the thing is, like the elite's interests will always be to subvert that because the fact that there is a safety net, and all these like social programs and even like huge taxes on their wealth, it impedes their ability, you know, to accumulate wealth. So, and this is basically what's happening. Like ever since we elected Ronald Reagan back in the 80s, there's been like extensive deregulation, and like gutting of social programs in order to make the billionaires more wealthy. And now our wealth inequality rates are just insane. They're the highest they've ever been.
Well, the problem is Democrats aren't
So
really Democrats anymore. Like a Democrat of today would
yeah,
have been like a right winger of like 30, 40, 50 years ago. Well, that and it's really funny too because in the 50s we had a right wing president, Eisenhower, and this shows how different the Overton window was. He said, if you do not
yeah.
support the New Deal programs, you're not American. He also had 90% tax rate on the highest earners. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it just crumbles because I don't know. It's just an inherently unstable system because you have these two opposing forces, the billionaires, the elites who want to everything to be deregulated so they can make as much money as possible, and then you have the people who care about others who are in the government, like the social democrats. And it's just like, why not just have a system where there's not that instability? Like, why
Well, I
have
think
this unstable
people,
system?
right, but I think people would be willing to trade some stability for other things, right? Like wealth, for instance. Even if your wealth is not that stable, but still there is wealth at that point in time. So I think when you balance everything, when you try and balance everything together, I guess, well, in my opinion, at least, the capitalist society comes out better, and I think history bears it out overall. And you spoke about China as well. I don't think China right now is a like a totally centrally planned economy, is it? I mean, they have a. I'm pretty sure they have like, I mean, individuals can start a business and etc. They do encourage that, don't they? They've moved away from the
Yeah, I
government.
mean,
Well, hey guys,
they're state
we got a
capitalists.
new guy. Let's see what Infinity thinks. So Infinity, do you think COVID came from a lab leak, or do you think it happened naturally?
Well, this is an interesting one. I think COVID was manufactured to bring in the vaccine rollout. Essentially, that's my sort of view on it. I think it's been planned for a long time, and yeah, there are a lot of ideas about where it came from. Of course, so I can't be absolutely 100% sure. I just think that's the idea I'm going with so far. I don't know. What do other people think? Do they think?
Okay, yeah. Wait, so you're saying that it was manufactured, like the virus was deliberately created in the lab full sale, like from scratch, or
Yeah, so it was part of my view is it's part of a military operation of some description, um,
a,
and
a military operation,
yeah,
like a bioweapons experiment?
exactly, yeah. That's the sort of idea that I'm going with so far.
Okay.
I certainly don't trust the narrative that has been said about it, and it's sort of originally it was from bats or pangolins in a wet market, and that seemed very far fetched, especially due to the lab in Wuhan. That was very suspicious, and I think the authorities have been very, and the governments have been very deceitful about how they've framed everything. So that's where I'm going with it so far.
Okay.
So
Okay. So just to make sure we're getting you correctly here. So you think there was a bioweapons program in China ran by the U.S. that made COVID?
Yeah, it was a joint operation. So
so
So you think China and the United States are like cooperative partners in things, generally speaking?
I think they cooperate on more things than we can imagine. There is something that they're trying to roll out across the world at the moment, which is the smart cities and the smart grids. That's certainly coming up as one topic of conversation. Also, the biodigital convergence as well. That one's an interesting subject. Getting nanotechnology into every human being, so that we can be
Right.
hooked up to artificial intelligence.
Okay. But yeah.
So do you know why they had a lab there? Or let me clarify. Do you know why they were studying on bat viruses? Infinity?
Well, part of it was apparently it was something to do with gain of function, which is to sort of change the quality of viruses and add different functions to those viruses.
So yeah, so a lot of people don't realize this, but there's a reason why they started studying back coronaviruses. And that's because 20 years ago, there was an outbreak of the SARS virus, SARS-CoV-1, the one that we just have, SARS-CoV-2. But during SARS-CoV-1, we traced it back to a wet market where an animal called a civet was infected by a bat. So the reason why we started researching, or they started researching it, is because of what happened in the past. And the reason why we think it's so strongly that it's probably natural is because it happened before in the wet market from bats. And since all the cases cluster around the wet market originally, 66% of the original cases, it really mirrors, it's a lot like history is repeating itself. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing everybody here thinks that it wasn't from the lab. It was actually a natural occurrence.
That's my
Yeah.
opinion.
That's also that's what the weight of the scientific evidence leans towards.
And we're not like we're not trying to like crap on you. We just kind of want to see what people think and challenge those ideas a little bit. Will's awesome. Do you want to say something?
Sure. I'll take the other side. I don't think it was natural.
Do you think that it was a bioweapon, or do you think that it was just an accident?
I think it was a bioweapon only because of Li Mengyan. She was the first researcher that came over here, and they did a huge smear campaign. But when you look at her papers, the later ones weren't actually peer-reviewed, and she's the only one that gave a hypothesis for the bioweapons. And she said it's an unrestricted bioweapon. That was Li Mengyan. She was the Chinese researcher that had to flee. When she first came over, because she was connected to Bannon, they tried to make it seem like it was some Trump thing or something to do with like political or whatever. But she's a serious researcher. She's the only one that actually gave a scientific hypothesis. The 2 peer reviews that she had were for her first paper, and they weren't called for, and they didn't get to the bottom of it. What they continuously said is that there's no scientific hypothesis for a bioweapons theory, and Li Mengyan actually gives the hypothesis. She says it's the E protein. It's 100% identical, so that's falsifiable. And she gives the exact backbones that only the CCP, supposedly had to make up the coronavirus. Her research also points out how they added all this into the gen bank when it was being released. And so it's not that I believe in the weapons theory, it's that I believe Li Mengyan, and that's all I could say.
Could I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If it was made in the lab, why is the lethality rate lower than SARS-CoV-1? SARS-CoV-1 had a lethality rate of 10%. COVID had 2%.
Have you
Yeah, maybe we should just pull up the paper.
Yes. For those that don't know, my co-host Eddie here, he's actually a neuroscientist, so he's pretty qualified to examine this stuff.
So where is it on Zenodo?
Wait, but Will, do you believe that it was an organic virus, or do you believe it was manufactured?
I believe it
I
was
just came in
natural.
late, my bad. You believe it's natural, okay. But Will was saying earlier, you were saying it was not natural, or you're saying it was manufactured? I'm not sure.
there and it's not just the first paper. You have to read there's 4 papers that you have to read to understand Li Mengyan's position.
Okay, okay, so if I just type in like Li Mengyan bioweapon paper, COVID bioweapon paper.
It would be, I can pull up the names of all of here. I'll pull them up and try to drop them in the
Sure.
pill if you give me just a couple of minutes to research all the papers.
So
Yeah.
I did contract COVID late 2020. Have you guys contracted COVID? What were your symptoms?
I have.
Like, I would like to compare my symptoms. Okay, so my symptoms were like my whole body felt like it was hurting. I couldn't my breathing was fine, but my whole body hurt. It felt like I was hit by a train, and it felt like an original fever, but just like completely like gone to the extreme. And when I went to the hospital and they tested me for it, I didn't even expect for me to have COVID. But yeah, it didn't have any lethal. I guess because I'm young. I guess they said there's elder people can, but that's like too broad. But did you guys have that same symptom? Like you felt like you were hit by a train?
No, mine wasn't that bad. I just felt like I had the flu or like a bad cold. So I got pretty lucky.
You know what's interesting? After I had that, it's been like 6 years now that I've never had a cold from that. Is that? I think that's like, I think that's good. Like, no, I'm being serious.
Man,
like,
I mean, who knows?
is that
Maybe
same for
that's
you, though?
connected.
Is that same
No,
for you, though?
I've gotten colds. I've gotten colds since then.
Yes, that means I got the no, that means I'm literally the T virus of Resident Evil. I'm a Resident
Dude, that'd be
Evil
awesome. It like
umbrella.
mutated your immune system. That'd be sick.
Right. And like Umbrella Corporation, like yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, being serious though. No, I've never had a cold since then, which is kind of strange, but dude.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I was like hit by a train at that time. Like it was, and then my mom got it. My dad didn't get it because he got the vaccine, but dude, my mom was like, she was in bed the whole week, dude. She couldn't even handle it.
Damn, that's brutal.
Yeah. And then I went to the hospital. I think it was like midterm of my symptoms. I was like, what the fuck is happening to me? Like, what is this? And then I just thought it was like some sort of like regular sickness. I never thought I would get COVID because, you don't really say, oh yeah, I got COVID from this or this. But then they checked me out and they're like, yeah, you have COVID. I'm like, wow. And then I looked on the news. Well, prior to this, obviously, like I looked on the news and like people are dying from this. So I kind of felt grateful. I'm like, I'm grateful.
Yeah,
I died
dude.
from this. But, like, yeah. So I mean,
Exactly.
Worse for me.
Either way,
I
if it-
lost my taste. That sucked.
oh, I didn't. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, damn.
I don't remember losing my taste, which is interesting. I don't remember losing it, but I guess that like manifested in like me being hit by a train. So I guess that's like the same trade-off.
Trade one for the other.
Right. Like I'd rather have no taste than be hit by a train. But yeah.
Oh, okay, he posted a
Hang on, I'll get it. That didn't work. I'll
Oh.
get the links. Just a sec.
But who is the neuroscientist here? Because that's some actually like great.
Yeah,
I
medicine.
study neuroscience.
Oh, you do? Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I don't know much about it. Like that's all on you, bro. Like
It's awesome. It's crazy.
There's a difference between learning it and looking it up. You know what I have a problem with AI nowadays? Like I don't want my surgeon to learn through school with AI because you know what I mean? Like that whole meme is
You
like
got to internalize it. Yeah.
exactly. Because if AI is
Yeah.
telling you it, you're not actually learning it, you're just regurgitating.
Just following
it.
orders. Yeah, exactly.
Yep, So I feel like this is going to be a detriment in the future where people need our surgery, but the people doing it, they don't actually know it because they just followed AI, so they fuck you over.